Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be showing you how I break down my monthly paycheck to cover a two-person household while still being on a low income budget. So let's get started. So here's some background information about me. I do live in South Korea, and so all of this will be converted into US dollars. I only get paid once per month on the 25th, but I do budget from month to month. I do live with my partner, and so therefore my employer does help to cover housing costs because it is contractual. Therefore, I do not pay for rent, nor do I have any mortgage payments or property taxes to worry about. However, I am on a very low income budget, so that means I am restricted in a lot of ways, but I'm still able to save 30% of my savings into my cash account and my investments. So I'll show you guys how I break that down. So how much I get paid is $1,609.14. This is after all of the deductions, the taxes, and insurances are paid off. So this is my net income that I have to work with. So there are 9 categories in my budget. I have bills, family, pets, savings, subscriptions, wants, sinking funds, miscellaneous. I'll be showing you guys exactly what I put into each category and how much and the percentage of it. But so far, what I can tell you, my biggest expense are my savings and my lowest expense are my sinking funds, which should be bigger, but we are trying to make this budget work for us. So for bills, this includes bills that I am personally responsible for. This includes my lunch, my phone, and my transportation costs. My workplace does provide us with lunch as long as we pay for it, so I put aside $70 for that. For my phone bill, I put aside $13.23. I am on a budget phone plan, which means it's probably one of the cheapest phone plans that we have in Korea, but it has exactly what I need, including data, messaging, and phone calls. For transportation, I do only take public transportation. I never take taxis unless it's an emergency. I used to take public transportation Monday to Friday, but I try to be more strategic because I do have a lot of hobbies and dance classes outside of work. Therefore, instead of me going to different classes every single day, I decided to lump it all into certain days so that I can reduce my spending on public transportation costs. So I've allocated $47.95 for transportation. So for bills, I have allocated $131.18 for my personal bills. Family bills are things that are our joint expenses. I do live with my partner, and so therefore this covers utilities, groceries, dining out, and joint activities. Utilities is pretty obvious. It's our heating, our electricity, things like that. And I put aside $43.45. For groceries, I put aside $245.13. And we try to cut down on grocery shopping as much as possible. So what I do is that I make sure to only grocery shop once per week, so this cuts away from impulsively needing to buy something at the grocery store. And we also try to buy in bulk at Costco, especially for meats and fruits, just because things are more expensive here in Korea. So for meats, we buy at Costco, and then for fruits, we try to buy at traditional markets, which is a lot more cheaper. Dining out, we only eat out once per week, and it's become a rule for us. So Monday to Sunday, we always cook our meals at home, but Saturdays are the only days that we allow ourselves to eat outside. So breakfast is where we eat at home. Lunch and dinner is when we give ourselves that freedom to eat outside, and it feels like such a reward, especially when we've been really good at eating at home, spending less money on groceries and everything else throughout the entire week. Saturdays are our days to kind of like let loose. Dining out, I have set aside $89.58. Now for joint activities, these are things that we use for date night. So for example, movie tickets, these are the expenses that would come out of the joint activities expenses. So I have put aside $13.21 for that. So for our family expenses, I have put aside $392.36. Now we do have 2 pets, Ricky and Harold. They have 3 categories. So they have pet supplies, pet food, and pet medicine. Pet supplies includes things like their litter, and then we put aside $20.36 for them. We buy things in bulk usually, so this is not like a monthly expense that we use. It does occur once in 3 months, I would say, but we still put that money aside whenever we need it. For pet food, we put aside $60.90. Pet medicine, they do get monthly heartworm medicine for the both of them, so I've also put aside $21. For my 2 pets in total, I put aside $102.67. I'm already sweating from all this filming. Okay, next one are subscriptions. This includes YouTube, iCloud, Netflix, and Coupon. As a teacher, I absolutely need Netflix, especially when kids have extra time and they want something to watch. YouTube Premium, I use that literally every single day. iCloud is for storage and Coupon is for groceries. A total of all my subscriptions, I put aside $43.60. Now this is interesting. For wants, I actually have 3 categories for wants. So this is not just spending whatever I want to spend on. I actually divide it into 3 categories of necessary spending, discretionary spending, and coffee. Yes, coffee is very important for me. Necessary spending are things that I might need for my job, things that I cannot get out of not spending on. I have allocated, I've allocated $70 for my necessary spending. For my discretionary spending. This is things that like clothes, makeup, things that I actually do not need but I want. $175 is allocated for that. For coffee, I have allocated $42 for that. I love going to cafes, I love drinking coffee, and so I absolutely need a coffee budget. This will definitely be lower as my schedules and my partner's schedules change. So for once, I've allocated a total of $287. Next one is savings, and this is actually really interesting. So despite the fact that I am on a low income budget and we are supporting 2 people on this one paycheck, I'm still able to save more than 30% of my savings, which I'm very proud about. So I have 3 categories of my cash savings, my emergency fund, and my investments. So for cash savings, I put aside $105. Emergency fund is $175, and then my investments is $253.64. I've always been very adamant on saving and investing. For my cash savings, I automate this, but because I am on one paycheck right now, I want to make sure that I have control over how much money I put into my emergency fund and my investments. And even though I do know these should be prioritized and that these should be automated, because of this, I want to make sure that I have extra money just in case I need it. So therefore, I actually manually deposit my money into my emergency fund as well as my investments, just to make sure that if anything comes up, I do have extra money left in my account. So I forgot to mention the reason why I don't automate my emergency fund and investment savings is because I don't give myself a hard amount to put inside each account per month, just in case I do need the extra cash. So some months I might have to put in less money for my emergency funds and my investments. And so I have built the system this way just so in case if there's an emergency, I have cash left in my account for those emergency expenses. I hope that makes sense. So for my savings, I put aside a total of $533.64 into my savings. The last 2 categories that I have are sinking funds and miscellaneous. These are kind of the last priority items that I have on my budget. I have hobbies and vacation. Now, I mentioned in my previous video that for my vacation category, I actually did over budget because I just forgot to budget for it. However, we do have a cat hotel that we have reserved for the cats whenever we do go abroad this year. The cat hotel is already reserved for the cats, but they have not asked for payment yet. So I'm putting aside $35 per month just to save up for that cat hotel. For hobbies, I do enjoy taking Pilates classes. I do buy my classes in packages because it is cheaper. So I'm also putting aside $21 for when I need to renew my Pilates package. So I'm basically putting aside $56 every month for these sinking funds. For my miscellaneous, these are things that kind of come up once in a blue moon. They're very unpredictable, but I still should be saving for them anyways. They are medical and things I forgot to budget for, which is my favorite category. For medical, there are some medical things that come up here and there, so I just want to be prepared for them. I put aside $35 for my medical. Stuff that I forgot to budget for is any other extra money that I have from my budget that I cannot just throw into this category in case there are surprise expenses. And I put aside $28 for this month. This could change, this could fluctuate depending on how my situation is, but that's the ballpark number that I have. So for my miscellaneous, I'm setting aside $63 for that. So my biggest expense throughout my entire budget would have to be my savings. It is currently at 33.17%. My lowest category would have to be my sinking funds, even though it should be higher. It is currently sitting at 3.48% of my budget. Despite me being on a low income, I am still very adamant on saving and investing. I have made my investment portfolio grow to over 30% within less than 16 months. So if you're interested in how I invest and what I invest in, please let me know in the comment section below. You have to stay tuned for my next payday routine just because we are going to be moving from a single income household to a dual income household. So my budget will drastically change. I'm sure that my savings accounts will definitely be a lot bigger. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comment section below so I can make more content for you guys. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye-bye!